And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC joining you again for a, actually, discussion this time and not a react so far. Join me again for discussing of Season 7 as a whole is, you heard of Bronies?
Hello, ponies. I'm a herd of bronies. Welcome to our Season 7 discussion.
Unova?
Good evening, Phillies and gentle cult. It is I, the esteemed Unova Brony, here and ready to answer to all of your questions on my thoughts on the season.
Second?
Oh, there. I'm the second opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second, I'm kind of disappointed that Jen's not here to do her impression again of me this week. I was looking forward to some sparring about that, but, oh well. So, just give you some analysis or something instead.
So that's why she's not here. Just joking, but all right, y'all. Today, for your audience, which I hope we have an audience at least at some point, we're going to be discussing Season 7 as a whole. But first, starting with our overall quick thoughts in a sentence or two. Any volunteers go first or alphabetical?
I'm fine either way. Want me to?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Give a brief word, I will.
You said you want to go?
Sure. Okay, me. I want to be the first one.
Okay. Oh.
I mean, well, I guess the other seasons, there are middle of the road seasons that have really high highs and really low lows, and Season 7 was not one of them. It was just playing every episode in the range of, pretty much in the range of middle of the road. There were some nice surprises in it, but I mean, yeah, I think it's pretty much smack in the middle of my best to worst order of seasons, and more specifically on the season itself, it was kind of like another Season 4, a slow start and a fast finish, but a strong finish that is, but not quite as strong. Season 4 is one of my favorites, and Season 7 maybe more middle of the road.
All right. Anyone want to go next?
I guess I'll go next. Season 7 has certainly been very much a welcome return to form for the series. It seems like when I was talking with second privately, we both kind of agree Season 5, even though it was a great season, it was kind of a big turning point in which we were leaving behind the main 6 escapades and focusing more on side characters and such. Season 6 felt very much like a drought, in which while there was great episodes in it, the overall tone of the season was quite despair-inducingly exhausting, and you lose your motivation to watch, But Season 7 is okay, we need to wrangle up these fans back. Give them more interesting plots. Give them more entertaining stories. We gotta go extreme. We gotta go big. We gotta go epic.
Yeah, although I will say, great season sounds a little nice for me, especially considering that it's Season 5. But moving on.
All right, Alex, you want to go next? Or you want me to go first?
I guess I'll go. Yeah, Season 7, to me, it feels like it did a lot of things that, were, very worth of, fixing mistakes, doing a lot of things that were worth to the series more than, worth as individual episodes. So to have that is just really good. It makes it better than Season 6 for me.
All right. As I said, to give my quick thoughts, season 7 is probably my third favorite season of the MLP. Very closely tied to season 4, though with less frustrating openers and closers, especially openers.
I don't know. Season 7's opener had its frustrations for me.
It has frustrations, but it didn't have Princess Twilight frustration. Or
yeah, it's not Princess Twilight levels of frustration with the plot or season 6 boredom with one.
Yeah, because I could
maybe a little bit of season 6 boredom.
Don't get me wrong. I could say the opener was sort of a letdown sort of thing. It's not really. It's a sort of a boring-ish episode, but like the season 4's opener, like outright frustrated me.
Yeah. Season 4's episode definitely did more contrived things, but I mean, well, I also did kind of find that it just generally had more worth as a story. So I mean, basically what I'm saying is I'll take frustration over boredom. But yeah, but that's just me. I guess it's still your turn.
Actually, that was just my quick thoughts. Like I said, we're just quickly giving our overall thoughts going in. Now let's move on to discussing how the season's main 6 were handled in the season. Good, bad, sort of
ugly. I mean,
hey, Day Lover.
A new challenger approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Day Lover, somebody was just doing an impression of you, and you showed up right at the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think our mic's having issues again.
Well, while we sort that out, so somebody else go.
Yeah, we'll
try to help figure that out.
Yeah, we'll get back to her initial thoughts in season 7 when she gets her mic adjusted. But like, that's overall thought. When I say sort of like flatline, but when you say flatline, I usually mean dead. I mean, it's sort of like just narrow. I just okay, or think the main 6 will handle better this season, worse.
Definitely better, but then yes, season 7 is generally a lot better than season 6 because, well, actually, that should probably qualify. Like, I don't consider any season bad. I think that as kids' TV shows go, even at its worst, it's average. But yeah, so season 6, I guess, is average, maybe slightly above average for a kids' show, but probably the worst season for and 7 was not so, and partly because I think it sunk its teeth a little bit more into what it had to work with, including the main 6. That said, it's like I more appreciate the effort than I love it on that level. Should I just keep going until somebody else decides that they've got their thoughts ready?
2 Day Lovers.
2 Day Lovers.
My dream has come true.
Yay.
All right. Can you hear us, or can we hear you? All right. Try adjusting the mic input under the.
Okay,
yay!
there we go.
All right. Before we continue discussion on the main 6, Day Lover, what were your thoughts on your quick summary of season 7? Like, what were your overall quick thoughts?
I really liked this. I think like the animation and the storytelling, and I think like they came far with all of the stuff. So I don't know.
Is it your new favorite season? One of your top ones? Good but not great?
Yeah, I think it's one of my top ones, but my favorite season though.
Wait, did you say it was 6?
No.
I can't remember what you said.
I think it was
What if-
3.
Well, I know that is it. Well, that is your favorite episode. Is it also your favorite season 3?
Yes.
Okay. So, alrighty then.
I'm so odd. Because everybody's like season 4 and season 5 and season 6.
I think more specifically, everybody's like not season 3, but
Yeah.
Season 6 is getting there too.
no, I think season 6 was worse than season 3. To be actually, it's kind of close enough. But no, season 3, I will always give it that it had some high highs at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, season 3 gets a lot of like crud, but it's really had about the same quality hit or miss as regular season. It's just so short. Like it was so short, but wasn't structured to be short. Even worse than like the Voltron half seasons. It was like you could clearly like it was not balanced as in the season how characters were developed and stuff like that, just because there's so few episodes.
Actually,
And also they had like they were so short on time. They had gosh, what was his name?
Dave Polsky.
Dave Polsky, yeah, they had Dave Polsky just basically doing backup writer in half the season, just because.
But
right.
Isn't it more important to be short and sweet than long and dragging and boring?
Well, that's why it's probably a little better than season 6. But while I might not get many good boyfriend points for this, I thought season 3 had lower lows and highs that were fewer and farther between, and the fact that it couldn't even manage the same number of highs with only half the episodes it had to make is where I say that okay, yeah, that is kind of embarrassing. But it did, unlike season 6, its highs managed to be every bit as high as the other seasons for the most part.
Yeah. Something I don't understand is like I know that season 1 is great, but I still feel like the animation and the storytelling have come so far. So, yeah.
I'll give you the animation. I feel like I was actually rewatching Luna Eclipse. So like I've like repeated the same complaint so many times about the character-driven storytelling that even I started to forget what I'm talking about. But I mean, just like the little bits of just like the way they kind of give these characters breathing space in that episode. Like I almost forgot why I loved Luna so much, and she is like, I mean, she carries the show in that episode, and it.
If they only would have fit in that, if they would have only fit in that rarity segment that it was cut.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Like that might. Well, I'm almost wondering if that would have made it seem kind of too. What's the word? Well, not even formulaic, just like obligatory.
Yeah,
like okay, now.
I think formulaic was a good description. I don't see what you meant by it.
And again, I have to be the weird one, not liking Luna or anything.
I just like what is well, I mean, okay, they do reuse that joke. Like I don't know what fun is, but heck, I'll take that any day over that other stupid joke. Like, hey, I say something in a really obvious voice, so you know that it's the opposite of what I said. But okay, but no, Luna Eclipse, like, just what is that? The scene where she talks to Fluttershy just every moment. How's this? Perfect lesson over. Bye. And then where she's like hugging Fluttershy at the end, or what was the one that really, really got me? Like, where Pip, declares that she's his favorite princess ever, and like she's like taking that in, and then yells, "Oh, most wonderful!" at the top of her lungs, and then takes it that actually might be. I might have actually forgotten how precious that moment is. But
yeah.
So I mean, like, I guess when people say story, sometimes, like a lot of the time, what they mean is the complexity. But I mean, like, there's such a thing as a simple story done really well, and I feel like, and even done very intelligently. And I mean, I think that's what I've been kind of missing, like just knowing how to get some really truly relatable stuff out of this kind of material.
But I think we'll come back to this and discuss how this season 7 compares to the rest of the seasons. let's just finish like our thoughts on the main six. Now, like, who do you think was like handled poorly this season? Who was handled well? I think I can take a guess who we consider who was handled poorly was probably Twilight.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, she had one really good episode. Like
one Once Upon a Zeppelin, or
Once Upon a Zeppelin.
okay. I mean, well, first of all, I'll give this is probably a big one. I'll give this season over season 6's Twilight. I mean, heck, this one seemed like it actually cared about Twilight. That I think that season 6, I had an overwhelming sense of like they were so done with her on that one. Just, but
yeah.
I mean, like, let's see. Like No Second Prances. We also have Tom Zero Changeling, PPOV.
I think part of the problem is
PPOV was fine, but
I think part of the problem is actually part of not just like because her appearance. Now that you think about it, her appearances actually were not necessarily bad or as bad as it could get in season 6, but it's like it just felt like she wasn't just really there for most of the season. Like even as a supporting like secondary character, it felt like it felt full up like Starlight was the main character now. And like it felt like Twilight has become a princess.
Yeah.
Like she really has become Celestia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is especially rough because I mean, like the premise that was driving the show and investing us for a long time was the story of these friends with Twilight at the center, growing together and like kind of growing up bit by bit with being each other's guiding light. And then on a season that cares more about the side characters, that's kind of like making a recipe without the secret ingredient.
I actually think like they handle the characters very nice in this season, but there have been problems in the other seasons for sure.
Yeah, although
with every pony.
That said, though, like this is as far as handling Twilight, I might just sort of like loosely appreciate the effort more than I actually like it, because I mean they did still maybe even more so that they did the thing where they take inspiration from Lesson Zero to Flanderize Twilight and call it personality. They
but I think it's a good episode, Lesson Zero.
Exactly, Lesson Zero killed it, and then like these later seasons, I mean, some used it as a one-off gag, or not even a one-off gag, just like a little scenario of more of the same to, let us enjoy that side of Twilight. And then that, I think, has gradually devolved into Flanderize her and call it personality. Like in Royal Problem, for example, her character is basically, oh my God! Every single moment.
Or the MLP movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the MLP, like if the MLP was going for much of anything there. Like, actually, I should ask, like, specifically, what are you referring to?
I mean, just like the sort of Flanderization of her, like, Lesson Zero self. And actually, no, I take that back because overall, I think Twilight was handled pretty well in the movie. She was one of the few that actually got a lot of good development and actually good characterization. But I guess who else do you think of the main six was handled not too good this season? Maybe even worse than last season.
Okay, let's see. We've got. I think Rarity was just about the only one I felt for in the first half, so maybe not her. I have a feeling I'm betting you want us to say Applejack after Honest Apple.
No, I think like in season 7 it goes a little better. But in the other episodes, of course, and other seasons there have been, but we have discussed this with. There is a lot of great Applejack episodes, but we were
honestly Honest Apple. Like, I don't think that's like just the bad handling of Applejack's character. To me, it was more like all the sides of it, all the handling, all the ways we've seen Applejack's character typically handled good and bad kind of playing at once. Like we see her humble side, we see her blunt and straightforward side, we see her painfully overplayed, exaggerated, stubborn, dumbhead side, and we see her remorseful side. So I don't know, that's like I guess I don't even hate that episode, honestly. I think it's like the good and the bad of Applejack together.
Yeah.
The Tom.
At least it's not the one where she has to save him from the Timber Wolf.
Oh, the spike at your circle. I don't even know if the characterization was the problem there so much as just the hijinks.
Just sort of throw, like, as you said, like you want me to say AJ was bad. Not really, because besides Twilight, she was the only one I felt was handled bad this season, and more that she just didn't feel like she felt like she was a princess, as in like sort of there in the background, but not really that involved. Like that's my big issue with Twilight this season.
It's because they're slowly replacing her with Starlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they sort of are, but like this season they also show that they sort of aren't, as in like at least especially with the finale, I feel like they're just saying like no, it's like Twilight is still the main character.
They did pull back on the reins on making it Starlight upstages Twilight, which I appreciated.
Yeah, which I did too. But like I mean, overall, besides Twilight, I felt I would say for most of the main six, they just sort of like handled okay. Like they're just sort of there is a good way to describe it. Like, as in like they're handled not poorly, but just sort of forgettable. I think Rarity's a good example of this, where like Rarity's there, she's having interesting moments, but she's not really. This ain't one of Rarity's best seasons.
No.
Season is Rarity's best season. I can't remember any season where my favorite, like 2-3 episodes belong to her.
Well, don't you
Season
2?
Yeah.
In season 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, okay. I preface this. I don't love Suited for Success and what's it called? I mean, I like Suited for Success fine, but
Green ain't your color.
Sweet and Elite.
Sweet and Elite. Yeah, I don't actually. Sweet and Elite was the first episode I ever saw. It almost convinced me not to watch this show. Like if I hadn't given it a second chance. If I hadn't given it a second chance, I would have just been like, "Oh, mystery solved." It's a competent show for people who just want an excuse to say they like My Little Pony. Or
Yeah, I kind of got the same feeling from Sweet and Elite.
Yeah, except for the song. Actually, for as much as I have to not thank Sweet and Elite for it, still might actually have my favorite song. But yeah, I think Sisterhood Social was the first Rarity episode that I thought, actually, that is kind of a great one in its own right.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. Like I do love Simple Ways, but was just one episode of season 4. So.
And I hated that episode.
Wait, you hated Suited for you hated Sweet
Simple Ways, the Applejack and Rarity playing with a love triangle with Tenderhoof. And I mean, like a lot of people, well, actually, the reviews I saw from like right when it came out said that like, you know what, actually, I forgot how funny Rarity could be. Like, yeah, this was really good, but then like really good didn't seem to have much staying power in people's minds. I'm like, okay, go back and watch it again. I mean, I know the premise is easy to overlook, but that episode is giving you like everything at every single moment. It just has so much like delightful fun with every little moment. Unless you just really hate the idea of Rarity even having to worry about a love triangle. Like, if the most you ever wanted with that was just she realizes she doesn't need a chump like Blue Blood.
But
okay, I think what I was going for, like, I didn't find Rarity to be a notable step down this season, I guess, so much as especially compared to, I don't remember what she did in season 6, but I mean,
well, I was saying she wasn't a step down. I was just saying she was just sort of like just sort of going on, not really going up or down, just sort of
I mean, I think
Sun Pony that they got right again was Pinky. I'm thankful for that.
Oh yeah, Pinky this season was quite a highlight, even though she didn't really have like a spotlight episodes. Like the episode she was featured in, she was in character. It's just that like how should I put it? Some of the episodes was bad, but it was only because of this surrounding Pinkie Pie.
Pinkie Pie's episodes are like greatest hits.
They're called yaks.
She's not just a
No,
what is that?
I was not talking
Shit,
about the
there you
yak episode. I was talking about the one with Rainbow and Pie.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie is like a greatest hits album. She's not just a character. She's also a modern day Looney Tune. Like, I mean, she misses sometimes, but her comedy, like when she gets it, it's like, yes, a new hit to add to the collection. And as far as, and for the record, they still nailed it with Secrets and Pies. That is the Pinkie's latest hilarious hit.
No, I'm not gonna denounce Pinkie's acting in that episode or personality there. It's just that the whole concept of Rainbow was just so convoluted that it just raged me off.
No, I finally figured out what it was.
What?
It's misleading.
Yeah.
What?
Because you think at the beginning there's a reason why Pinkie was happy for Rainbow Dash liking her pies. She wasn't actually happy that she liked her pies. She was happy that Rainbow Dash was happy. We find that out at the end.
Yep.
And
of course she's happy when everyone is happy. That's what drives her.
That one, it's like, I'm a bit confused
Broken
by that
over.
My
What?
My brain that just got exploded. You can't do this to me, Alex. You can't do this. You can't tell me it was all a lie. It was all a lie.
It was, you know that, Pat.
I can't handle more lies.
Okay, allow me to do my impression of bronies watching episodes versus bronies in real life episode. I find this to be unacceptable from a moral, philosophical, and logical standpoint. Telling a lie like that does not align with real life. Hey, you like my cookies? I think they're a little exotic, but I really worked hard on them. Yeah, they're good. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That just reminded me of that Star versus.
But sure, in real life, you will go out and you will find a really bad cookie and try to eat it in front of your friend. No way.
Oh, that just reminded me of that Star versus sleepover thing where Star made brownies for the first time.
And what do you people do when they actually try to enact the point of that this stuff is not black and white? Just go assuming that it's true? It's not true, darn it.
Okay, where were we?
Have a piece of humble pie and get on with it.
Yeah, I think we had Pinkie Pie is handled well. Twilight was handled not well, at least in my opinion. How do y'all? I forget. Did y'all agree with me on that, or were just like
no? Twilight was handled better than season 6. She was handled better than season 6.
Yes, but better than season 6 is not well necessarily.
No. That's just how desperate it is. Like, Twilight just has to be better than season 6 for her to be okay. Not like fantastic or amazing like season 2. Just okay at this point. I just need stuff in order for her to not be a terrible character. We don't need her to be the same level as Applejack.
No, we want all to be like Twilight, of course.
Like seriously, like Applejack's best season was season 5. Twilight's was season 2.
Wow.
Season 2 or 1?
That's actually more complicated now that you look at the best season is more complicated than you might think at first moment. But anyway, I think Twilight, like, okay, the best I can say for her is like they showed how she still could be a main character. I think this is actually the first season to successfully make an episode about just the but not even that, not knowing if she wants to be a princess, but just adapting to that as her role and like how it changes her life. And I mean, I think the last episode that tried to do that was What About Discord, which with the whole oh, hey, I can't let them know I'm jealous now, and that episode was so ungodly terrible that, yeah, I think we can agree that Once Upon a Zeppelin...
What?
Don't make
No,
me
you know
remind me of the inside jokes. I wanted to remember
I
Nova,
like
if you
the
keep having a
inside
Nova
jokes.
reaction to every reaction we bring up,
Yeah.
we're never going to get anywhere.
You know, where take a piece of pie and calm down.
pie.
Here, Nova, I'll give you a pie so you can just throw it into the trash behind my back and then lie about it. And I won't feel
Alright,
bad.
so-
Somebody should remix the Fruitcake holiday song to be with Rainbow and Pinkie Pie.
Or better yet,
It's early Christmas morning and the phone rings.
Why didn't they use
No.
fruitcake? That would have been so
the cake.
better.
Well, Grandma, I couldn't. It was unbelievable. That's for sure. What's that you
It
say?
had-
Oh no, Grandma. Police.
It had like all of these 27 layers, so one of the layers have to be fruit, right?
They could have done the same episode with fruitcake and it would have fit more.
Yeah.
It's like a running theme of fruitcake.
Well, actually, I kind of like it that it's not that Pinkie Pie doesn't realize that something is disgusting. It's just that Rainbow Dash happens to just not like pies. That's life sometimes.
Yeah,
Well,
it's such a
think it's
weird
okay.
thing though, just because. What?
Oi. Why is this?
What do you say, Ninja?
I was saying I still find it such a weird choice with the pie, just because
Yeah.
pies are such a diverse dessert, where it's like from pumpkin to like apple to like lemon, or like all the expensive ones. So it's like it's hard to say you just don't like pies, just because like there's so many freaking different types. And so it was like if she was just making a specific type of pie that she's like, oh, Rainbow Dash really loves my blueberry pie. She just loves my blueberry pies. I must make her blueberry pies. If it was more focused, I felt it would have been better.
Yeah,
But
that would have
like-
been better. Yeah. And
Entire
also, like it's Pinkie Pie. You could have told her like you like the cookies because she hands out the cookies herself in the 28 days later, or how to say that, Franks later. Yeah. So yeah, and she eats the cookies there. So she could just have told Pinkie, you know what? I'm not that much for pies, but I really love cookies. So if you make me cookies, I would be even more happy, and then there would have been no problem.
Bingo.
But that's a simple explanation.
People would think I was more positive if my big thing was not liking innovation or some such. I feel like every time I find my episode that does that for me, everybody else sees this doing something differently, and everybody has a hang up with it, and it's always a different hang up from person to person, and I get nowhere.
But I think it's like half good. I just don't like the ending with this disgusting pie. That's the only thing. Like that's the only thing that if it was her that collected all of the bad pies or all of the pies that she thrown out, maybe it would have been like more to my, what I was expecting. But her diving into it and trying to eat it, it was a little too much, because you would never ever do that like for real. No.
Hey, this is not the same as what. This is something different. I have a hang up with it. Just like, in fact, we all have hang ups with them, and not a single one of them is the same hang up, but grrr.
Internal reaction. If there's one thing we could say for certain about season 7, it's been Starlight's best season.
Yes.
Definitely.
Well, I said we'll
Actually.
get to her in a sec. We'll get her to and some more characters.
Alright.
Let's just close up on the rest of them.
You know what? It might actually have been a weaker season for Rainbow Dash. Like,
Yeah.
there was a time where Rainbow Dash could,
Right there, second. Yeah.
there was a time where Rainbow Dash could do no wrong for me. Like, I felt like even at her weakest, she was good and entertaining, and that she had more great hits than just about anyone. And then, part of what that required though is I think you have to remember that what redeems Rainbow Dash, this cocky braggart thing, that's a common shtick for Rainbow Dash. has charisma. She can make it work, and she's not just a jerk. She's actually, well, she's like everybody who is a narcissist and cares about being. It's like 101. Narcissists think they're awesome in theory and aren't sure about it in practice. So, I feel like that's how you add that extra dimension to it, and. But yeah, now it's just more like, hey, she's a narcissist. Look at how much she's tricksy without the adorable charm half the time.
I think like Rainbow has her own charm, and I don't think like she's only narcissistic.
Yeah, I mean, she did play the main supporting role in one of my favorite episodes this season, which we just talked about, and I felt like she lent a lot of the fun to that episode, Secrets and Ties. But otherwise, what did she even have?
I don't feel for her in that one, but I feel for her in other episodes and other seasons.
In that episode, she's being so Rainbow Dash.
No, I still don't feel for her.
Sweep stuff under the rug and everything will be okay. And I mean, she's trying not to hurt anybody. Like, it is kind of sweet in its own way, but it's still a very Rainbow Dash thing to do.
I mean, then again, I'd say her best appearance within Parental Guidance, if it wasn't for like the writing in the episode at the end.
Yes.
It
should have been. Well, actually, that episode, I feel like it gets like. I mean, I love I love the first third of that episode. I feel like when she shows up is exactly when it starts getting bad.
Look, that's how I have it with Secret and Pies. Like you have it with this episode. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, like, and it's not Rainbow's fault that it gets bad when she shows up. No. But they decide the thing to do is, the parents need to be the most obnoxious, oblivious knucklehead instead of this.
Course.
Yeah, well, I mean, like before they were over the top, it was making fun of parents like that, and it was glorious. But I mean, it's like they weren't doing like it wasn't like, okay, if a little salt on your popcorn is good, the whole salt dispenser must be better. It was like, okay, no, they're not stupid, they're not oblivious. It actually really makes sense that Rainbow Dash has parents like this. They're just kind of a satire. It's like a great jab at these parents who are just like obsessed with every little thing their kids do, but then they take it over to Rainbow Dash, and it's like, okay, they don't realize that shooting off fireworks is too much. They don't realize that throwing rainbow t-shirts in people's faces is too much. They don't realize that cheering for a towel is too much. Shut up. Stop telling me that same damn joke.
But sometimes like,
second opinion is certainly quite rage-filled.
It happens sometimes. For a second.
I have to be second opinion in these things. Being real me, I'm just sort of overly detailed and hemming and hawing about it.
But I think like they did a good job with the parents in that episode, because I could really, feel for Scootaloo in that episode, even though I know that they are not telling that she's orphaned or anything. Like, I just feel like she became a part of the Rainbow family, and I actually think like it was more episode around her than Rainbow Dash.
Which, yes, Scootaloo does provide more of the heart in that episode. I'll give you that. But I mean, but yeah, I feel like the problem is that the way they build it, like they try to make the moral take shape around Rainbow Dash, like around how she should recognize that, okay, it is good to have parents like this, and that might have worked if you hadn't taken it to the point where, no, Rainbow does have a point. These people are out of their minds and really need to rein it in.
Yeah, something that could have been interesting was if Applejack also had something to say in this episode.
Now you're talking.
It's like Applejack is just like looking at this, and it's like,
yeah.
And what
be grateful, goddammit.
You know what this episode needed? You know what this episode needed? It needed to be sisterhood social. Just like, okay, how to be sisters. Yeah, come see how Applejack has a better sense of that, how to relate to your parents. Like, I mean, it didn't necessarily need to be Applejack in that role, but I mean, okay, yeah, let's see like how things fall apart in a relatable way where both sides have a point, and let's see how somebody else who has it more figured out kind of gets to come in and be that heartwarming mentor like Applejack was.
You have
Not
something,
get, like,
Ninja?
I mean, like Sweetie Belle's gags in that episode where she tries to fix something and she doesn't know she's screwing it up. Like they did get that. That did become a little bit predictable and such, but that was also really relatable. I feel like, and parents coming to your football game and shooting fireworks at you to celebrate you is not relatable.
No, that's actually something that happens in real life. Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, I'm hoping in real life it ended with the parents being taken to jail afterwards.
No, actually not.
Oh. And how did they get away with it, shooting off something illegal
Never mind.
and dangerous?
It's Denmark.
But closing up the main six, also want to say, because I'm a little biased here, but I felt this was a good season for Fluttershy. Maybe not better than last season, because Fluttershy actually was handled well, though not that much in that season, but still I would say good.
She has really good spotlight there.
I'm going to say something very weird and controversial. Like, Fluttershy is my least favorite character, but I think like she's handled the best in this season.
Let me see. I think season 4 might be my favorite Fluttershy season. I'm trying to think of. Well, okay, beside the point. I might give you that one. I feel like she was really good in Discordant Harmony. Heck, even the episodes where the episodes themselves were maybe just kind of hemming and hawing, like just decent or just okay. She herself had pretty good morals, like she was a strength in Fluttershy Leans In, for example, in her other episodes.
Health of information.
Health of information. I might count as a point against her.
No,
I don't like that episode either.
I will argue to you that Fluttershy was the best savior from Takora ever, and no one else took that situation.
Basically, like Luna and the Princess of Magic Sheep, except without a single good reason or understandable reason to be saying the things she's saying. No, I must do it myself, because clearly, if I do the responsible thing by chasing something I'm really unlikely to get in terrible condition, that means I am being responsible. Oh, and I learned the lesson by not learning the lesson. I was totally right and I totally succeeded. Oh, but maybe I should have, let Twilight help. I guess that's the moral.
Yeah, I also think like it's a little bit too much, because like it's a deadly disease, like they're turning into trees and stuff like that, and like Twilight is just taking it almost like if it was nothing. I don't like that at all in that episode, but I think like Fluttershy is doing an okay job in the start of the episode. But when it becomes where she's like, I have to do this myself, I don't need help, and I'm just like, weren't you supposed
Twilight
to be,
is like,
disgustingly
passive about that? I mean, like having a complex about responsibility, and then wanting to take care of something that only happened because of your complicated responsibility issues in the first place.
Why don't take a other pony then? Why does it have to be Twilight that is this like? Maybe it's because it needs to be Twilight then, because like she's like with the lists and everything that needs to be done and helping and stuff like that. But I'm like, if it was other pony that was not that great at, for example, magic, or could actually help with the disease or something in those lines, I think like it would have been a little, I don't know, a little bit more better, truthful, how to feel like, because in this episode, I'm just like, Twilight, why don't you just help instead of, not helping? But again, then then we hear that they tried for 3 weeks or what it was when she was out, or 1 week.
3 days.
They didn't try at all.
3
They
days.
just took care of her, apparent as far as we know.
No. They say
no, right,
like
that's
they
right, that's
tried
right.
everything,
Yeah,
things
which-
that they won't talk
I
about
got it
and
backwards.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I got it backwards. What my problem there was that just
Yeah.
off screen. Oh, we can't get by the bees because the episode says we can't. Like, let's.
Yeah,
okay,
I would have
Fluttershy's
liked to
unconscious.
seen that.
So okay, we still
Yeah.
want Fluttershy to have this whole responsibility complex thing, needing to do it herself when she wakes up. But it makes no sense that Twilight wouldn't just get the stuff herself while Fluttershy's out.
Yeah.
Twilight just couldn't do it because. But I mean, I was
But
making the
she's
blueprint-
like, she's a powerful Alicorn, right?
Yeah.
With all of the magic. So I'm like,
But on top of that, like I was making the Do Princess's Dream of Magic sheet comparison before. Like, okay, it makes sense that you're something that's broke loose because of your whole responsibility complex, like that you'd want to take responsibility for that and such. The clock is ticking on my friend's life, very life,
yes.
and I have been hit by this deadly disease myself. But because I want to be responsible, I don't want any help, and my friend
I
who
would have
apparently
cast
doesn't want to
everything
see me
inside,
die
like-
is just standing there being like, oh, okay, we could, like, I mean, that is not something that makes sense. That is bending and twisting the
and
logic
especially after
to make the plot unfold in the way
Fluttershy
you want
gets
it
sick.
to.
Yeah. Also, after Fluttershy gets sick, I don't feel like Twilight is actually feeling anything. I know that it sounds rude or how to say that, but her being like, crossing my hooves that everything is going to be okay. Like, what are you doing? Like, I would have been crying and trying to be like passionate. I don't know.
No. I mean, you're saying the right stuff, Day Lover. It's just, how should I put it? It's like,
It's
I guess
just
I'm
a little
probably
bit too much when it's like death.
I guess for me, it's like, I guess I've been holding on a bit too strongly, like my initial thoughts about the episode, because it's like the first time like the series has really gone like very dark with like an illness and such, and it's like I was like,
that's like such a
yeah.
It's like so appealing that it'd be willing to do that. But yeah, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I was going to continue on by saying like, and that like I was really impressed with like Fluttershy. Like I know it was flawed of like her like just constantly like exhausting herself and such, like just to try to do something while no one else is like really like pushing for like the helps the core essentially not be a tree, which is really funny in hindsight because of the whole reverse tree jokes that you can make out of this. But you definitely do have extremely good points about the whole plot seems to be bending around Twilight, and Twilight's just like she's supposed to be the answer. She's supposed to be the calm center.
Yeah.
And like a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense with Twilight in this episode at all.
Maybe the moral is that the Twilight is not always the answer. That sometimes you have to do stuff your own way, even though that you're sick.
Which would be a little messed up because when your friend's life is on the line, then anything you can possibly freaking do is the answer within reason, I guess.
I don't know.
Okay. You guys have honestly just convinced me to basically lower Health of Information down to just being a good episode because
You can see it.
It's hard.
They're bringing you nowhere to the light.
Oh yes, we are so. What's a really contrived, pretentious thing we could refer to ourselves as? We are the answer, the cure, the living embodiment of the cure. But who is that bad guy that like says he's the cure, the solution, the Amon or whatnot?
Oh God, the Amon. Hey, let's talk about college. Wait, I don't think we've mentioned one of the main six. We forgot to mention her.
Fluttershy, Rainbow, Pinky, AJ, Rarity. I think we got them all.
Wait, you guys talked about Rarity?
Yeah, remember my whole thing
Yeah.
about Forever Philly, how I felt for her at like points of this, and everybody else says she's just sort of there.
Yeah.
Which, granted, is kind of true, but I felt like Forever Philly, I at least had my moment, like really feeling for her and what she's about.
Then again, you have to balance that with Honest Apple with her the portrayal there.
She was pretty good though. She had the guitar solo and the Strawberry Sunrise moment.
Yeah,
it was actually like Rarity was
Not
actually a better
Strawberry
like
Sunrise.
characterized character in that episode.
And actually, Campfire Tales, I felt like she was the best part of that too with her story.
Yeah, Campfire Tales. Yeah, it was something like a
Alright.
major highlight.
All right, but let's let's move on to the supporting cast as well. How do you think they were handled this season? Spike, Starlight, and
Definitely
Mom.
Spike has handled better in this episode or seasons.
Wait. Compared to
Spike,
what?
I really like him in
There's 6.
this season. Yeah.
What did he even do in 6?
Hey, Gauntlet of Fire! Back to the Discord.
Gauntlet of Fire. Okay, well, what's the Discord one called again? Dungeons and Discord.
Dungeons and Discord, I also like that one, yeah.
Time Zero Changeling.
Okay, you can have
Changeling.
Gauntlet of Fire and Times They Are Changeling, but I will admit Dungeons and Discords makes me hesitate. I'm like, okay, maybe season 6 was one of his better moments.
Yeah, season 6 was definitely one of his better moments. Season 7, it's not as bad as season 5.
No, yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Yeah, what is as bad as season 5?
Yeah, with Neil DeSeto's appearance.
What did he do? I mean,
Princess
let's see.
Spike.
Didn't mind him. Well, actually, I minded him in Triple Threat. I felt like, I did and I didn't. I felt like he was where it got kind of but otherwise, I liked that episode anyway.
Yeah.
What else did he have? He had. Did he have anything
But-
else?
He had Shadow Play Part 1 for a moment.
Yeah, the
what?
shadow play. Yeah, that was the reason why I'm saying like he. I think like some of the best is from season 7.
Yeah, actually,
Well,
you know what? He
I'm-
might not have gotten any
Yeah.
all-time great episode, at least for him, all-time great. His track record has been, but just if we're going by just the character, this season might have actually been as good as anything
Yeah,
for him.
Good for
That
character
great moment in
development.
Once Upon a Zeppelin, picking up the slack for Twilight so she could go on vacation. That was that's a moment where you can totally buy Spike, the good side of Spike, like what he contributes to this loving relationship with Twilight and such, and Shadow Play where he's like making fun of both Twilight and Sunburst, or he's like not even
I
making
actually
fun of
think
them,
like
he's just
that
like
is-
passively like, seriously, she's read it all, and then Sunburst is like, oh, the reading and the rereading and the rereading. What's bro hoof? And Spike, he's like rolling his eyes at him, and but he still does the bro hoof, or like,
Yeah.
or he's like without changing his expression at all.
It's like it's a part of the job.
It's like, it's like, this is my life. Like that, like, I mean, I buy the funny side of Spike. I buy. I mean, actually, they didn't forget that he does kind of have his cynical side or his sardonic side, but he's still a great supportive little buddy. He's not entirely a tough guy, as we saw from like Racing Garble. He's a little, but yeah, he's still gutsy in his own way. It's like,
Yeah.
so.
And when he finally stands up, it's like really nice, actually. Also with like, I will, and I beat you down the stuff.
Shit.
I didn't.
Oh,
And stuff.
in fact, if every character were as well done as Spike this season, I might have liked it
Yeah.
better.
Oh.
Throwing some shade out there, huh? Second.
Shit.
All I had to, it almost sounded like I was.
But else supporting cast, is it also background characters we're talking about, or?
I mean, we could talk about like the pairing of Starlight and Trixie.
Yeah, because like
Essentially.
I was also like Trixie is have become a little bit better for me actually also,
I think
but
so
not
too. Like,
not a lot though. I still
that's one
don't
thing
like her, but I still like. I feel like she came to a place where I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. and also like Maud. In the first, I thought that she was like, I really like her jokes and stuff like that, but I feel like she also, became a little bit better in my mind.
Maud is a poster child for subtle writing. Like they started out just making her exactly what she was supposed to be, like head tilting, just unsure what to think of her. And then since then, bit by bit by bit, they've just been like really sneaky about how they're having her grow on us, just like having us get how she works more and more. And then once we get it, like show us a little bit more of what makes her tick. And
some pony I actually lost a little love for was actually Sunburst in the new seasons.
Honestly,
because I was really like, yes, I want to see Sunburst again. I want to, be happy for him return and stuff like that. And then the episode where he just like, goes away from Starlight and be like, no, it's not only because of that. It's just like, he's not like handling stuff very good there as a friend either. Because, like, if I was just a friend and going to somebody and being like, I would never do stuff like that. No, that's insane. Like, I really feel like he's putting it on a little bit too thick, but maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. I just feel like it could have been a little better if they, like, tried to see, like, he tried to make a little bit of time for her as well, but she was left out, or how to say that. I feel like he's using all of his time for Twilight and the other girls. Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like this season, this might be kind of controversial, but I feel like it kind of showed me what Sunburst is good for. I mean, the crystalling, I guess, what he's good for in theory. Like, he's big on knowledge and mediocre on raw power. But, okay, here we get to see that. Here we get to see that in action, at least. Like, he's kind of the male Twilight except, actually, the truth is he might be just the male Twilight, but not as powerful. But, like, no, he does give her someone to talk to as far as being a research nerd goes. And...
It's also fine, but I was like, then tell, Starlight that you were going
we need
to
to bring
Twilight
back Twilight's snarky side. That's how we should be able to tell Twilight apart from Sunburst.
Yeah. But I also feel like some of the other background ponies have came a little far. And we are also seeing some of the background ponies more, which I appreciate, like Vinyl and stuff like that. But maybe
another one I'll admit is that the last couple seasons, I think I've finally started to get Trixie. Like her first appearance, I was like, okay, whatever. More distracted by what a mixed bag the episode itself was. Her second appearance, I basically totally concur with Ninja DC's video on how it's concept over execution. But since that, like, when she came back in No Second Prances and the stuff, like, okay, she's still petty, she still wants to pay Twilight back a little, but come on, come and see the pathetic and friendless Trixies. Way to go, dum-dum, you really messed it up this time. Repentance toward.
It's title.
Trixie is totally the permanent 5-year-old at heart. It's like
5-year-old.
And then how Change a Changeling, where she and Starlight are basically like the bulk and skull of the show now. The well-meaning kind of screw-ups, except the difference in like how Bulk is the smart one and Skull is the underling. It's like tempered with a little, like, now the gap is even bigger, and the dominant one is actually also the one who might not know as well. So that being Trixie,
I see what you are saying.
but there's also uncommon bond with like basically we see Trixie actually genuinely enjoying showing Sunburst like how to do magic tricks, and that is just like the most adorable thing ever.
Like where he's getting every card wrong, and she, without changing her smile or like, no, not that one, no, not that one, like still totally into it.
Yeah.
It's like you do realize that you're making more of a case for Equestria Daily, right?
Yeah.
Constantly shower Trixie with all the praise.
Yeah. What was it? Starlight. Well, I guess that's a low bar to clear with her, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna say just clearing the bar isn't gonna win me over just yet. I still feel like they're trying to find a place for her and still trying to make sure she's not just a Twilight Junior, essentially.
Twilight Junior.
But I also just thought about a pony, like I think is doing a little better now than she have done before, and it's a princess. It's Cadence. Yes. I think like she's doing a little bit better job in the Zeppelin episode, and like trying to be like more. What is
I'll
that?
be honest, I've always liked
humble,
Cadence.
but,
A little more.
I also always like Cadence. The only episode where I don't understand her means is where she sends Pinky out alone. But elsewise, I feel
the Yaks episode.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yaks
that was more Pinky's idea, but I mean, I've always liked Cadence, but I feel like this season is one of the this not every season has given me an episode where I can point to it and say that's why, and this is one of those seasons that did. So, boy, as long as you're not saying that saying it's Celestia that's the step up for, then I'm good.
No, well, I also like Celestia, so of course I'm going to say that.
Okay, well now we can fight some more.
Yay!
Boy. Actually, though, I feel like maybe I should give some other people a chance first. Oliver and I have been going back and forth with each other a lot, so.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody else give me some side character you want to talk about.
Okay, side character.
But let me just give some thoughts. Like, I think one character we can agree was overall handled better this season was, as I think saying, was Starlight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, well, okay, yes, but also a little bit no, because again, I'm gonna you have to find that place for, you have to make me like her on her own before I'm gonna say that, okay, you're doing a good job with her.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, as much as season 6 just basically did the same thing with her 3 times, and then the pointless Christmas episode, I think I might have actually liked. Well, maybe that's the wrong word for it, but it's another Christmas carol.
I that episode, yeah. Still a great episode.
It is.
Talking about heartwarming tale.
Well, okay, that aside, I feel like I might have, I have to think of which episodes were which again, but as far as just plain liking the episodes, I think I might have actually, I think her season 6 episodes might edge out her season 5 episodes on my card.
Wait, don't you mean so? Why are you talking about
her season 7 episodes, excuse me.
I didn't.
You know,
she only had 2 season 5 episodes. One was great enough, so at very least an A-. The other one was both really good and really stupid. And I don't know which one wins out, if it's a good episode or a stupid one, but still probably season 5 has her best episodes. But no, what is her best episode in this season?
Okay.
Starlights? Shadow's Play?
Uncommon Bond? Well, Shadow Play, she's a player in it. I don't know if it...
I
actually think Rock Solid Friendship could be
Rock Solid Friendship.
Yeah,
I might give Uncommon Bond the edge over Rock Solid Friendship.
I would second place to a Royal Problem.
You can have it.
Okay, if royal problem is your argument, I know it's going to end with us being like, okay, there is not possibly an agreement we can come to here. But, okay, but yes, season 6. I mean, I actually what's the one? Every little thing she does. I felt like that was well, like my favorite. Okay, it sounds like my favorite in season 7 was Uncommon Bond. In season 6, it was Every Little Thing She Does. I think it was Every Little Thing She Does, and that's close.
Hey, that's kind of funny that you mentioned both episodes because it's where Starlight basically loses it. It makes a spell that makes the situation type of worse or psychologically worse.
Yeah.
That might have been a little better
Almost
done in
like
Uncommon Bond, but Every Little Thing She Does, I think, kind of made up for it with just the opening with Twilight and the talks with Spike and just how she is kind of like trying to compensate with what a virtuoso with magic she is and all that.
I think everything was. I personally thought every little thing she does was fucking hilarious when I first saw it.
Yeah. It has a lot of good moments in it.
Oh yeah, like especially seeing like Rainbow Dash be like, "Friends on my control, other friends," or Pinky actually being perpetually pissed until the cooking at the end.
Yeah,
that was kind of sweet. The whole
But the reason why I had Shadows play here is because she's exuding Twilight. So I think like in season 8 we're going to have like Starlight taking Stitching in as an apprentice, and we're going to be like taking it from there.
Boy, that's really going out on a limb now.
Like seriously, like that's just like it is because it's like I don't think Stitching needs that sort of mentorship. I think it's just more about like them repairing their friendship with Starswirl. That's only it.
Yeah, but he needs like somebody to take care of him and make sure. Or else, like, I think he's still going to be like in Starswirl's apprenticeship stuff.
Well, he wasn't really Starswirl's apprentice.
Well, he could be.
No, that's Clover the Clever, the early.
Well, she's not there.
Right.
But she's not there, so I think like it could be interesting if they took it like that way. But I made a headcanon about that in my channel, so
did we even find out for sure which gender Clover the Clever was?
Oh God,
no. But I think she's female.
We don't know the gender.
I think. I'm not sure.
No, it makes sense why Twilight's playing them, but.
But Rainbow Dash is playing a male character, so...
I do believe that was the implication, yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of, I guess, those, what are your thoughts on the sort of season 7 plot line with the Pillars of Equestria and...
I really liked it, yeah. I think it evolved a little bit.
It's certainly better than season 5 or 6's running plot, but it was still just sort of hey, let's conveniently, all of these things were conveniently introduced, and now, that's totally what our big finale story is made out of.
Yeah, it kind of snuck up on you.
But then again, it kind of feels reminiscent of season 1 because, like, while the premiere didn't really say much about, like, the setup, like the episodes later on just started building up like the Grand Galloping Gal and such, and in the end, just
well, I mean, yeah, but that makes sense for all of them to be connected. This was just, well, to me anyway, it felt like an overly convenient. Hey, guess what? Those all actually have something to do with something.
Yeah.
Like we just happen to conveniently talk about all of them offhand, and they are related. Well, I mean, I guess it's not like I can believe that. Okay, just in random events of the year, these characters would end up being talked about, but it's like it's just more that, saying one scene before the finale that hey, this is a thing now.
Right.
Elsewise,
but yeah, I mean,
that's quiet. Something is wrong. No.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd still give season 4 the edge because even though it was also kind of hands off, it what's the word? It tied it. It showed us how all of this tied in. It showed us why all of this ties in. It wasn't just hey, we said it's this, so you have to roll with it. There was a setup, a build up, and a payoff, even if it was like actually connecting the plot details together. They waited to do that until the end. They decided that how this is part of the story itself is going to have to wait until the finale.
Yeah, but I'm also like thinking, what about Discord? Like I think like he also came a little bit further and evolved as a character, Discord, but I don't think like we're going to see him that much in season 8.
What did he do this season? Well, okay, he did the Fluttershy episode, Discord and Harmony.
Yeah.
Then he ignored Twilight in the opener.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it.
Screw this Twilight, which I'll give him more credit for Discord and Harmony.
Yeah. So,
but he was not Starswell the Bearded.
Yeah.
So many fan
Thank
cannons
God.
being destroyed, and it's all wonderful.
I knew they were
he is
all.
Starswell the Bearded, and he disappeared.
You know, Emma Larson revealed in a Fame and Misfortune interview that, one that he, like the way it worked out was not exactly his idea. Like he didn't want it to be a jab at bronies, but he also revealed that he had some, like he wanted to talk about how the writing process isn't as simple as bronies think, and he said that in Make New Friends but Keep Discord, he wanted Discord to trying to be sent to want to send Tree Hugger to actually a terrible dimension that he like wanted him to consider going back to bad for a minute. And when they said, well, he doesn't do that anymore, M.A. Larson said, well, then what's the fun of him? And I have to admit, like, you know, as much as everybody hates the producer's notes, that's one I might actually give to the producers there, because like if after the season 4 finale they still want to go like have moments where Discord can go back on it, like I think that's where it turns into, okay, I'm sorry, why do you still trust him? He's proven he doesn't deserve it if you're going to go that far. Like, I mean, I think
like the puppet dimension is a very nice, what is that?
I thought that was a good compromise, yeah.
Yeah, good compromise.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be, though, that I disagree with M.A. Larson on, like, on whether Discord can be fun as basically a good guy, like, basically cemented as a good guy.
Yeah, but I still feel like he has some evil in him. I just feel like not that much, maybe.
A little petty.
Yeah, but who can't be a little petty, though? Like, I think, like, that's normal.
But yeah, that, like, he can be willing to go bad again if it means to benefit himself. I'm like, yeah, I do think.
I think that's a little bit too much,
Yeah. Where they say there's a time for everything, and sometimes there's a time for studio interference.
What do you want to go back to, Ninja?
To the main story plot line of season 7. I think I've discussed it last week, but I think my main thing I would say is I really like the concept of it, but I wish it would have been better integrated is my summary of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know,
like the Pillars of Equestria, how like works, it was great, but like it felt like you could feel how it could have been better integrated into like the story, but like it was just sort of like an afterthought sort of the season until like the end.
Yeah, like more group episodes, more seeing them come across this magic and these old mysteries and wondering about how that unfolds. Like turn it into a mystery, an ongoing mystery.
What is that?
Kind of like Gravity Falls or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, that could have been kind of awesome if they did that with like
that, but,
they found a book and then like mysteries about it gradually open up more and more as the story goes on. Instead of just Sunburst finds it in a barrel in the second to last episode.
I actually think that was a little bit clever, like finding, hidden stuff.
And the ancient version of Loot Crate.
I thought it was more convenient.
Well, other episodes have been convenient too, so I don't see a problem. What is that you are playing with? You know where it's making me insane.
What do you mean?
There's this small clicking sound, and it's been like all of the other. Yes.
What is
oh,
that?
Ninja, it's you.
It's a fidget cube.
How could you blame me, Tea Lover? I thought we were friends.
I'm sorry.
We were, but Tyrek offered me so much more than just tea parties.
Oh boy,
driving me crazy.
That quote drop.
I think I have a good question for everyone here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What would you guys consider your top 5 favorite episodes of the season, and what would be your 5 least favorite episodes of the season?
I can't tell because I'm supposed to make a list with second later.
Oh wait, I thought that was character-related lists. I feel like I could lose.
Yeah, I think 5. I think 5 is a little too much for both, but let's just say 1 or 2 of your favorite and 1 or 2 your worst. Like, well, this is gonna be like the sort of closing thoughts of this season 7 is like some of the stronger episodes, some of your weaker. I think one we can all agree is on the weaker side is Daring Done.
Oh,
yeah.
So flawed.
Yes. Oh, we all agree almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a flawed mess.
It had the potential to be great, but it just avoided any sense of consequence.
Well, actually, you know what? I think that that episode really, I think, gave me a look into the pattern with J.M. Barrow. Like, you look at Philly Vanilli with Fluttershy set up a bunny parkour ring with Angel. He did it, he hurt his foot, and he had to go to the animal vet, and there were too many animals at the vet, so Fluttershy remembered that she always wanted to open an animal sanctuary, but okay. Now picture that, though, as the plot of an elementary school chapter book for kids, and suddenly it kind of fits a little better, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
but like also a little book about a day in the life of Fluttershy, where the point is like a little inner thoughts, or like how this fits into her day-to-day routine. That being done, somebody in the background is saying it's Cataleron in disguise is setting up the problem over and over again, and they're saying the moral over and over again, First they went to this place and tried to stick up for Daring Do, but it didn't work. And then they went to this place and tried to stick up for Daring Do, but it didn't work. And then they went to, again, kind of the same thing. Like, doesn't it kind of sound like an elementary school chapter book?
Ooh. So I guess when it comes to GM Barrow, you should expect episodes that aren't really for the family.
Well, I think she's drawing inspiration from or she's using the style of the books she writes, the MLP books.
I also wanted to correct you. You said Philly Vanilli for the episode, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, Fluttershy leans in rather.
Yeah.
But also, I guess then going the opposite, and I think 2 episodes are probably in the top end for most of us is probably
Shadow Play and Perfect Pair.
No, I was going to say Perfect Pair and Discordant Harmony, which are right next to each other.
So basically the mid-season had the best episodes in your game.
I'll give you my top 5 right here. Shadow Play, Perfect Pair, Secrets and Pies, Discordant Harmony, and Change a Changeling.
Yeah,
I have to add real problem.
I would say Discord. Oh, not Discord. I mean the Change a Changeling is actually, I'd say, one of the better episodes that people forgot about.
No,
I would agree with you there. Yeah,
it's actually an important piece for like Shadow Play, actually, for like why Starlight isn't really thinking about Stygian as like a lost cause.
Oh yeah.
What do you wanted to say, Alex?
No, I was mixed up with the titles. I was thinking of Times Are Changing and To Change a Changeling. It's so
Yeah.
similar.
Parachute guidance!
It happens.
Yeah.
But I also like had the top 5 of other episodes, so that's also like Perfect Pair, Change a Changeling, Shadows Play, Slice of Life, and A Heartwarming Tale.
Slice of Life and Heartwarming Tale are other seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about 7.
Yeah.
You want to know something I would add for like the least favorite of the season?
What?
It isn't the main thing about you.
Yeah. Kind of.
You know what? That's going to be on my top 10. I feel for Rarity so much in that episode, and I forgot about bringing that episode up when we were talking about Rarity's character. You know what? I think she was good this season.
Oh my god! Like
I think Rarity is. I wouldn't say this is one of Rarity's better seasons, but I would say it's a good season for Rarity.
I can't believe we all forgot about that episode.
Yeah,
that's one of my better episodes of this season.
Yes,
okay episode.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was a bad. Yeah, I think it was B+ goes the way to describe it. But I think it was a good episode overall. But like, there are some very questionable elements to it, like the moral, like, and how it went from. It's not about how you are, but like it's how you wear yourself. Then she makes herself look good. It's like you're sort of defeating your moral right there. It's like,
okay, I do like that. I guess to that extent, I can see it as acknowledging realism.
It should have been more like how you feel inside instead.
Yeah, I mean, like if you, well, actually, it's sort of like a little give and take. Like there have been internet videos where someone puts on a fat suit and gives themselves a double chin and then goes around and is able to get dates anyway. But I feel like well, at very least they're saying, okay, but it's not just, hey, if you don't think about it, nobody else will. Like, of course they will. The world's a petty place, but it's like, okay, at very least if you own it in some way, then yeah, you can make it work for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe it hurts a little that Rarity's design is actually really cute and, in fact, better looking than the people who the ponies who try to imitate her. But I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess if I'm taking points off of that episode, I don't feel in my card it wouldn't be for that. It'd just be because it's plain and simply doesn't have like as much enjoyment power as some of the other ones. But I don't know. But Ninja DC disagrees.
No. Like I said, like I felt it was a good episode. Just I felt like there were just few issues with it. Like I don't feel like the resolution didn't really match the moral as well as it could have.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I thought it was one of the better episodes. Let's see. Any other top and bottom ones before we, I guess, go to closing thoughts on this season?
I think I already mentioned the top one being Royal Problem, just because it gave us Celestia and Luna characterization.
Yeah, I also agree with that.
Right.
And we're not going to get second on that.
Characterization and Celestia's characterization makes me bite my knuckle, but but yeah, I felt like we already had a big smackdown on that when we reviewed that episode, didn't we?
Yeah. Let's just move on.
I was like, yeah, nobody could let the other one finish just because.
Yeah.
Also, we'll never get done. Move on.
Okay.
But worst, okay, well, actually, season 7 just set a record for me. No thumbs down on my card. Like, Discord what's the Daring Do episode again?
Daring Done.
Daring Done. Thank you. Yeah, that it came kind of close, but it broke season 1's record of longest time without a thumbs down by going the whole season. But my C grade episodes were Daring Done, Celestial Advice, Flurry of Emotions, and
sorry, Unova, but health of information.
Yeah. Pat, Unova.
So we're going to be split on that. So yeah, the official vote for the Ninja DC podcast on health of information is split. Some good, some
mixed. Yeah, mixed.
Yeah.
Because I see some of the episode is really nice, but I just don't agree with Twilight and the stuff that Fluttershy does with stuff.
I mean, I can't even get mad at Twilight's season characterization for that. It feels just like this one random time they decided to make her an idiot in a way she never has been before.
Yeah, but I especially don't like the new character, the pony. I already forgot his name. But the health pony.
No,
the health pony.
Cattail.
Cattail, yeah. I forgot his name.
He's kind of like a non-presence. He's cool in personality. It's just that he's just
not even that, I think.
Okay, so we're split on health of information, much like secrets and pies, but
yeah.
And our universal
way, I guess.
Daring done. How about celestial advice or flurry of emotions? Anyone want to join me on the meh train?
Meh train for
man.
I would say meh, but not on the same level as Daring Done. That's
true. Yeah, I would rather see flurry of emotions than
Daring Done is the flurry of emotions is a C+ to me. Daring Done is a C-.
Yeah.
Daring Done just has flaws. Lots of flaws.
It's frustrating to watch is the best way for me to describe
it. The best part is only Somnambula's part. The best part is only Somnambula.
I mean, there are times when I wonder about Daring Done. Okay, I gave a thumbs down to whatchamacallit, Wacky Racers episode.
Carson.
Yeah. Carson.
Don't need to say the name. Don't need to say the name. Episode deserves it.
But that's also over season right now.
Yeah, my point is that episode also didn't have much of a reason to exist. But I mean, I'm like, okay, did I just let an episode through? Was I just in too good a mood that day? But right now, as best I can think, I'm like, okay, it at least had a premise that it did not hit you over the head with, okay, we're totally not going to do anything else. We're just it was a premise that, okay, well, there's a lot of stuff going on at work here, and there are characters you care about, and I at least care about where it's going, even though it's insultingly banal and pedestrian. But I mean, it's it at least passed the time for me, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm tentatively not giving it a thumbs down, but no, I totally agree with you all. Meh, flawed. So yeah, I don't think there's any disagreement on Daring Done.
No. We're done with that episode. Next.
What are you in a hurry now?
We are Daring Done with that episode.
Yeah, that was fun. I was not trying to.
Right.
Oh, okay. Never mind, I'm not funny.
Oh.
Well, I'd say you are too, but that would also sound like an insult, wouldn't it?
It's okay.
You're number one in my. I should have turned for comedy. Okay, I'm going to stop before this gets just downright sappy. How about celestial advice? Anybody else find that to have its cheesy bits?
Yeah, I really liked it. But I also have a fondness for Celestia, so of course it's going to be a good episode for me.
Yeah. I mean, Celestia in this season to me is if they tried to make Mr. Miyagi relatable, not by showing us that he can play a prank or crack a joke here and there, not by showing us his distraught in his pain over losing his son, by trying to show us that he's totally faking his whole wise and mentorly persona, and he's actually a petty old man who fights with his little brother and over who's daddy's perfect karate student and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. But I guess let's get our final thoughts for season 7 for now, at least.
Yeah, I actually think like it was very good and had like great music and better animation, and like I feel like personally that the storyline have become better also, the storytelling in itself, especially with the Shadows play the last 2 episodes here. Yeah. So I'm very fond of the new season. No.
Thanks for giving us Star Swirl.
Yay!
We finally
Waiting
did
on that one.
Thanks for giving us Celestia and Daybreaker.
Yes.
Yay! Daybreaker.
Now take it back before I come and find you. But so you guys, I don't know if I remember what Unova, Alex, how it stacks up to your other seasons. If you said already or not.
I feel like it's like 4th place.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say in between third and 4th place, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say like.
I also think like mine is like 3rd place. Yeah.
Well, when I saw Shadow play, it's like, well, I kind of have this goofy system for determining which season is my favorite. Like I go through episode by episode and compare my favorites to my favorites in order all the way down. And if it's really close, maybe and I think one might be barely better, then I might count it as a tie. Or if that happens twice to the same season in favor of the same season, then maybe I'll give it 1 point. But yeah, I seem to care too much about this stuff, don't I? But actually, with Shadow play, like I was thinking that that might be the Hail Mary pass that season 7 needed to beat season 5 for 4th place on my card, and I went back and I did my whole system again, and by split decision, it didn't. It lost out, so part of me was kind of disappointed. That part of me does get why everybody wants every new season to be the best one yet, because when you're cherishing something right here, right now, you want to cherish it as much as possible. But I mean,
I don't
know, season 7.
Yeah, that was like still remind me like the funny part by when you knew season 6 was bad, when like at the end of it, like most people weren't saying best season ever. That's a sign that the season was very bad.
Oh yeah, if it doesn't win the best season ever vote at the end, then it was a pretty bad season.
Yeah.
And 7. Well, 7 actually, especially in the first test, I felt like it was a very Lewis and Sonko season. Like they are pretty enthusiastic writers. They like to think up ideas, and they don't just stop at like, hey, we've got an idea and now the episode can write itself. But I mean, I still feel like a lot of the time with them, it is more concept than execution. Like they start with an idea and then they do what they can to weave a story out of it. So for the most part, it seemed like a season that was really trying and sometimes hit pretty hard and actually managed to. I mean, it was like the last mile sprint. Like it managed to pull it all together and come up with I think one of the better 2-parters. But I mean, yeah, all in all, I think that that might actually summarize my feelings pretty good on this season. It was a solid season that kept trying to pull itself together, and actually really trying to pull itself together and make sure it had a point, that it was going somewhere, that it was trying to draw its audience in. And much more than season 6, I feel like I'm interested in what it's gonna keep building to now.
Yeah. I also hope like it's going to be very good season 8. But what about you, Nova? Do you have one? Or Alex?
I think they just said that they won't speak for them.
I didn't think that they had that.
What was the topic again? We were still talking about season ranking, or
Final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, final thoughts. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it was good. And it just makes makes me excited to see where season 8 takes us.
Yeah. A good building foundation for season 8.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hope that they were able to pay it off with at least having one episode featuring one of the pillars.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course.
I hope like one of the episodes is going to be with Starsworld, at least.
Starsworld dies. Part
well,
1.
that could also be good. That could be a good episode, yeah. Actually, now
that's
you're saying
be the title. Starsworld dies. Yeah, I kind of hope like that. Yeah, all this stuff we saw from them this season, like that wasn't just a this season thing. Like, okay, keep building on that. Give us some ongoing plots. Like,
yeah,
that's what I've been missing. Something that I'm continuously drawn to, whether it's how they grow together as the elements of harmony, or how Twilight transitions into this role of princess, like going from scared of it to ready for it to actually actively wanting to do something with it, and didn't get that much of that from 5 or 6, so I'm like, yeah, give it back to me. Or to all of us. But mainly me.
Aww.
But yeah, like I think I already gave my rank earlier. I should say, yeah, pretty solid third favorite season for me. Which overall seems to be the trend. Either most of us put it in the third or fourth spot. What's in first and second
place for me by split decision.
Yeah, we are never going to agree on this stuff.
Yeah, season 5. No. Well, season 5 and 7 are both middle of the road seasons to me, but for totally different reasons. Season 5 had not the highest highs, but high highs and low lows. Season 7, like I said, mainly just like very, very consistent without being spectacularly good or bad. But so season 7 by split decision is in 5th place on my card instead of 4th.
But I guess with that said, see y'all next time.
Yay, bye.
Bye. Until season 8.
Sorry, I was not funny.